Hey guys, it's Scorpius, and this video is not going to be long, but it's very crucial to do this video. It's an important update that we got to talk about because any of the guides that I'm going to release here on YouTube, either the Ritualist Bleeding guide that I was doing since launch or any other leveling endgame guide will be affected by the changes that GGG is implementing or will be implementing. So it's very important for you guys to know about these changes so you can account for them for the leveling guides as well. So I'm going to jump straight into it because we do have some changes coming up or already implemented, and the first one that they spoke about is the Huntress will be buffed. So some Huntress changes and feedback that they got from the players was, first of all, for parrying. So it had a lot to do with parrying, and it was reported the players don't want to use parry as often as GGG planned for, which is no surprise. The major issue was that the only way to get frenzy charges was through parrying early on in the campaign. So what they're going to do now is they're going to add a brand new ability early on for the Huntress called Call the Weak, which is going to be similar to Killing Palm, which means that whenever a monster is in the calling range, which is low life, so for some monsters 30%, 20%, it goes on, we will be able to charge towards them and then just get ourselves a frenzy charge, which is going to make it a lot easier without the need of using parry. However, again, for parry, they're going to try and do a slight rework on how it feels when you use it. So we'll see what they're going to do. I don't think this is going to increase the player base that is using parry. Probably there's going to be very cool builds around parry, but yeah, we'll see. Another important and cool change that Huntress is getting is the spear throwing speed will be increased. So all of her spear throwing abilities will have slightly better speed now because they were all very delayed, especially lightning spear apparently. No buffs to the damage of any of those abilities, but they will simply increase the speed of when you're using those abilities. So pretty cool stuff for the Huntress. Moving on, minions have also been buffed. So with all of the life and damage scaling nerfs that we've seen on the minions, they're going back on them now for the campaign at least, and then they're going to be scaling through the nerf as well. So minion damage and life will be increased during the campaign to be similar to what it used to be while keeping the nerfed scaling that was added. So it's going to make your life a little bit easier through the campaign if you go in a minion build and early on with a witch, which is a decent change. Next, we've got the monsters. This, we've seen it from day one. I think they did this change. Monsters were too hard to kill, monsters and rares, but generally just white monsters had a lot of life. So now they've reduced the life by 25%. So monsters are going to be easier to kill. And then rare monsters have their life reduced by 60%. This is very important because the first couple of days I played through that character with the monsters having broken life and rares having broken life, so now everything is a lot easier. Therefore, my initial thoughts of the Huntress with the bleeding were working just perfectly fine, and it was just the monster being overpowered. So it's very important for us to know that this change is going to affect a lot of things in the game now, and it's going to make a lot of builds that otherwise we thought were not that good really good now. So we'll see how it's going to work out. Then another feedback that we're getting is that the areas were insanely large, and GGG has responded that they're going to add more checkpoints to it. I don't think that this is the answer to the problem here, but they also said the monster life reduction that they did now will speed things up, which I believe it's true, but they're also screening daily to see if the problem of the large areas is that there isn't any content in it. So we'll see what they're going to do, but this is something that they're trying to implement and fix. Then we've got the crashes. Failed to deserialize objects error has been fixed, which was our nightmare in day one. So they fixed that. NVIDIA driver crashes, which was the biggest issue in the previous patch, has seen much lower consistency, which means that they fixed it. But now we have so many more server crashes and server disconnects, and they are very confident that they're going to be able to fix those. So expect changes there as well. And the cool thing that they said is that we have a few things that are soon to come. The first one is the World Atlas map bookmark to save locations with a name, which is a very, very cool addition to the end game. We might see some stash tab affinities that you can add to different items and different stuff like socketables and tablets, as well as adding the charms with the flasks. So no bad. And the last thing is for the specters and the tamed beast. They're trying to find a way to bind them so you can be able to experiment better instead of like wasting all of your uncut skill gems into that. And yeah, so that's basically it of all the notes that they currently did. I think we are going in the right direction, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do next, and all of these soon to come. Hopefully we get a bigger list of these things and make things a little bit more exciting. But thank you very much for tuning in for another updated video. I'm going to do my best to release all the leveling and endgame guides as soon as I get them done. But other than that, thank you once again for watching, and I'm going to see you guys on the next one. Peace.